There has never been a better time to use AI for development than right now. We have been using AI for a long time. In this video, however, I'm not going to talk about AI. I will talk about developer tools and 7 of them that can help you improve your life significantly better. It will help you write better code, maybe even generate code, be more aware about your documentation, even generate documentation, handle your Git, handle your commits, TLDR. Let's get started. The first one is called Coser. Some of these tools are paid, by the way. And what this does is it's basically an AI powered code editor. Now we can ask that what's the difference between this and adding GitHub Copilot or VS Code as a VS Code extension or PyCharm extension. Well, most of these tools are very much fundamentally different. For example, if you see, it can have multi-line code generation. It can have the ability to just enter into a certain piece of the code. You can just select and highlight it like you can see in this video, and you can add certain parameters inside and it'll update it. So it's very much code aware. Yes, GitHub Copilot is as well, but these offer you flexibilities in terms of model selection, bringing your own models, fine tuning, making it more knowledge aware, that you will not find within GitHub Copilot. Obviously, it knows your code base like completely. It can have a chat based interface that just comes out of the box, but you can basically do things like, for example, what you see, parallelize this because this API is slow. These kind of operations are really not possible so far within the GitHub Copilot ecosystem. So Cursor is a great tool for that. Next up on the list is something very different than an IDE. What you have is something called as Mutable.ai. And what these guys claim is that it's an AI expert for your code base. So basically, you interact with your code like you would interact with a human being or an LLM in this case, and it generates the documentation. So it'll tell you what are the entry points, how the system looks like, what are the functions, what are the methods. It's basically aware of your Git repos. And this product is really cheap. It's like $2 and $15 for a lot of Git repos, monthly updates, revision, code architecture diagrams, which is very interesting. It's going to develop the architecture diagrams. You can bring in higher quality models in the advanced tiers and so long and so forth. Again, the idea is bringing LLMs into development, nothing new as such. However, we can even see a sample. For example, this is an Ollama repo. So I can just click on that. Okay, it's going to authorize it and come back. It basically aligns with her GitHub repositories to be able to work out. And yeah, talk to Ollama. Let's try that. So now it's gonna generate some kind of wiki-like documentation for my code, which is what it claims to do. Somewhere it says, yeah, create Wikipedia style documentation for your code. So this is super cool. Yeah, it did that, and basically that's what this tool does in a nutshell. It has a lot of different documentation. Most of these seems to be generated by the Mutable.ai. Like it says wiki.mutable.ai. There are even nice diagrams getting generated. I'm sure there's some sort of magic happening in terms of Excalibur and whatnot, but these diagrams look cool. All right, moving forward. The third product on the list is Code Story. It's basically similar to the first one, but with a little bit more bells and whistles. Like the claim is very similar, like code with the speed of knowledge and blah blah blah. Basically, it's an AI powered assistant that is very much context aware, does completion, and basically understands the language server so that the way you write code and the way it can utilize the functionality can be better, and it's available as a tab command. You can obviously have a chat based interface. They don't see your code, so yeah, that's good to mention that they are privacy, and they give you the ability to pick the infrastructure under the hoods, like add your own AI API key and all that. Now it's important to know that these are IDEs, not plugins. Yes, it is built on top of VS Code, so you can obviously add more extensions, but these are fully functional IDEs. The next step is a very simple list. It's called ui-pilot.com. So it's a UI pilot. It generates a form-based interface. I just asked it a question, generate a form field for capturing school information for children. I told it to make it nice. It did not add a, let's say, a submit, but add a next button, and it's basically gonna just give me something. I don't find this very useful because I can literally do this in ChatGPT, so I'm not sure how relevant this product is. But this probably is, somebody did a prototype and they were trying to have fun with it. Next are tools around Git. And basically, Gitwit is a tool that helps you start with some sort of an idea and get into a React app. So it's similar to the previous theme, but gives you more exhaustive capabilities in terms of React. So it's basically a very React aware assistant, I would say, or copilot. You can obviously do the basic stuff like accelerate your coding, lots of projects being generated, etc., etc. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what this tool does. The next up on the list is something called as GitBrain, and GitBrain is like an AI powered Git client. It basically reduces the amount of effort required to generate commit message, do a code review, and things like that. You can download it for Mac. I believe it's Mac only, but the interface looks something like this. You go to GitBrain and you take the tool, and then it's going to give you some sort of a diff like this, create the whole commit message, and you can make it commit. The idea is that it helps you streamline your workflow in terms of code management, multiple commits. Like, you can break the code into features and all of that. You can do the code review yourself. It will tell you the summary of code so that you know what has changed. It will automatically detect your project from your favorite IDs, etc. Keyboard friendly shortcuts, and obviously, made for Mac is something I'm not a super fan of, even though I use it. But yeah, nevertheless, so it's an interesting tool. It's an interesting feel into Git. I feel that these kind of tools might be irrelevant because you can always merge this kind of capability into a IDE or a code editor, and I'm pretty sure GitHub Copilot will start to do that sometime in the near future. Git Butler is becoming very famous. It's a kind of bigger version of what we saw. Can help you manage a lot of branches, trunking, tons of more features and capabilities than the previous tool. Basically, you can evaluate your config files, you can evaluate your review, you can evaluate your branches, you can see the sync specifications and stuff like that. Obviously, you can generate the documentation from it, you can generate the commit messages from it, and things like that. Also helps in some ways in some of branching strategies. I have not tried it, but it does help with branch management, which is a good thing. Sometimes absolutely must to have things. All right. So yeah, those are the 7 tools that you can use in your day to day that can help you improve your coding journey. If you have liked this kind of video, put in the comments. If you want more of videos on architecture, different topics, do the same. Subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.